Hi everyone. So the other day we had this Diablo 4 developer livestream. If you haven't seen it, it was about some of the updates that I have made in the game, especially some of the stuff that I've already highlighted in this blog post here from almost 2 weeks ago in the Diablo 4 beta retrospective. And I want to talk about one particular topic, which is the dungeon layouts. So if you have seen this, they have actually adjusted several layouts as a result of the feedback that I have gotten that there was too much backtracking and it was too empty, and some of these objectives have been changed a little bit to be just more smooth, more fun, because it felt like a bit clunky to play through some of those dungeons. And I generally agree with that. So here we have this list of 9 dungeons in Fractured Peaks in particular. So 9 out of 22 that we were able to play, that they actually have adjusted to have a slightly different layout and rearranged the objectives. So this is actually a quota of around 40% of the dungeons they have taken another look at and changed them, which is actually really good, I guess. So this wasn't really a problem in every dungeon, but some of them definitely had a bit of this, backtracking with like nothing going on, and you can easily get lost in some of these dungeons and these kind of things. And I would also expect that they have taken a look at all of the other dungeons that we haven't been able to play in the beta, and also did adjustments in somewhere around this range. So I guess a lot of dungeons actually did receive some updates there. And in a live stream, they've actually shown us some screenshots about old and new dungeon layouts and how they have adjusted them, so you get a bit of an idea. And I want to talk through this. So you see here, for example, this is the Hoarfrost Demise. This is one filled with Ice Clan, Goatmen basically. You might remember this, it's like in the northeast or so, northeast of Fractured Peaks. And it had this objective where you had to go through those 3 side rooms and find those structures and destroy them. And I think that would unlock the door here to the boss room at the end. So this was the dungeon. And you can very easily get lost, even though it's a rather simple layout, because if you miss the turn, especially if you don't know the dungeon, then you can, go around this entire path and, miss the turn here, and then you go to this side room and you go to this side room, and suddenly you're on the opposite end of the dungeon, and you have to go all the way to the other side to find the last objective. So in general, whenever you were inexperienced with a new dungeon, you could easily run into that issue that you just like end up somewhere in the middle of nowhere. You have to walk for like half a minute to even get anywhere else where you can keep progressing, which is obviously just slowing down the run and unfun. So if you were familiar with the dungeons and you know that there are exactly those 3 side rooms, and this layout is always some kind of like circle in the middle, then it wasn't so bad. But obviously not everyone knows every dungeon by heart, even after playing them a few times. So what they did, for example, in this dungeon in particular, is that they rearranged the objectives a little bit, and you can see this here. You still have like this circle here that you have to complete, and you have those 3 objectives here as part of the circle without actually going to those side rooms. And they've also adjusted, for example, other various parts of dungeons. So you see this here, the start of the dungeon has like another small circle that may or may not have a new objective now, I don't know. And you have like this, level transition there. You see like the climb that you have to go down probably into part 2, which wasn't present before. So before this was just, there was a circle here. It was part of the bigger circle, but there was no level transition basically. So they might have adjusted some dungeons like that as well to make them a bit more dynamic and feel like, there's like the kind of like, this one objective and then the other one. Some of them were also just like way shorter or way longer than others. So I guess they might have like, averaged it out a bit more. But you can see here that those objectives are just like, always found basically. If you just do the circle, you will find the objectives no matter what. In fact, you don't even have to finish the entire circle now to get to the last objective. So you can just go here and then go this way and you have them, or you can go the other way and also have them. And I guess this is the boss room now. So you see that this is the same layout. It has like this, path to the top, and then this circular room is exactly the same layout here. And I guess there is still this boss room that you have to finish. So you just do like this one circle without actually having going to the side rooms. So you can kind of just clear them if you want to. Maybe you're going to find some event there. They said that there's going to be like a much higher chance of finding events. It's 60% now instead of 10%. So there might be those like nice little things that you can find. And maybe you're going to find like some chest or something and these kind of things, which I imagine is also going to be, kind of nice The other example they have shown is the Calder Gun Barracks, which is also in the far north, in the center of the Fracture Peaks region, so next to the stronghold, if you remember that. So this was this layout here, which was like a very like open, like indoor barracks layout, as you can see here, with like this huge open room and a bunch of like side corridors, and then you had like those side rooms from those side corridors, and there you had these objectives. And you can also see like the start of the dungeon where you enter. You had to go all the way here to like the gate control or something, and then walk all the way back this long hallway to go through the door and then back here down into level 2. So there were actually 2 problems with this dungeon, and you see the updated version. It's actually rearranged quite a bit. So you have like the part 1 now that actually has like a more linear path through the first part. You see this here. So you have like multiple gate controls now. So I guess it's like 2 or 3 or so that you have to activate, and then you can go to level 2. But you don't have this long corridor where you just like go up and then backtrack, you know, all the way down again. Instead, you just go into the room, click it, you know, go out to the next room, and you're kind of done. So that seems like a really nice addition. And then here you see like the part 2, like all these objectives. They actually added more objectives. If you see this here, there were only 3 previously. Also, there's kind of like structures you have to destroy. Well, I think also like some blood blisters or something. And here we have like 5 of them now. So they added more, but they are like kind of like on the path now, basically. So you can't really miss them as long as you stayed in like the inner circle of the layout, basically. Maybe there could be one here, or, you know, this could be like random a little bit, like one here, one there, whatever. But yeah, they're kind of like gone from these side rooms here. So you cannot really miss them so easily, which was definitely a bit of an issue. A bit similar to what I just described. You know, you can walk through this dungeon here, and then you miss this room, for example, and just keep going to this way. And even if you find this and you find this, you're going to be stuck on the opposite side of the dungeon of where you need to go to finish the last objective to complete it. So that was a bit annoying, of course. And now this, seems like a lot better solution, basically. I think that's generally a really good way of handling it, and also with some of these other dungeon adjustments they have made here, with changing some of these objectives or giving like a bonus movement speed buff, for example, while you're carrying some objectives, or you refresh your cooldowns and your resources under certain circumstances. It will probably just make it feel less of like a chore, but more of, you actually get something for doing the objective in your dungeon. So that is really nice, and I'm quite excited to see how different those dungeons will feel now, how much more smooth it will feel with not getting lost in the dead ends, and also some of those extra buffs that you can get on the way. As you might have seen, they have announced this server slam event from May 12 to May 14. So it's another full weekend where you can blast Diablo 4 in around 3 weeks from now. So obviously I'm going to be there, I'm going to be blasting it. And I'm definitely going to check out those dungeons they have adjusted to see the difference. Maybe I can make some kind of like, before and after comparison or so, because I have a lot of footage from the previous beta weekends. And let's see like how different those feel, and if this is actually like a huge improvement compared to what we had before. That's it for this video. I felt this was something worth highlighting and something that we should pay attention to as well, and maybe give even more feedback in the next beta weekend. I'm sure there's not going to be any shortage of feedback from people playing the beta again with potentially like millions of players. But I mean, this is one of those changes they have made as a result of the previous weekends. So it will be quite interesting to see what exactly they did, and just gives us a bit of like a reassurance maybe that the feedback is actually helping and the developers are listening and trying to improve the game, which I have seen at various opportunities now. So that makes me quite optimistic for the launch and for like the long-term health of the game, with the developers really paying attention to what the community wants. Let me know what you think. Hope you liked this video, and I'll see you guys next time.